Hey guys, Terra Watcher here. In this video, I'm going to talk about two unrelated things, and the only thing they have in common is that I happen to be interested in both of them at the moment. I'm going to tell you about Prism Swap limit orders, and I'm going to talk about the ongoing Nebula Protocol LBP. This video is going to be pretty complicated, but that's great because complicated things in crypto are the most interesting, at least for me anyway. So let's jump in. Okay, so if you don't know, Prism Protocol has its own DEX. It's called Prism Swap. You can trade Prism assets there, and they recently introduced limit orders, which is fantastic. Now you can set an order to sell or you can set an order to buy, and then you can go about your life doing whatever you do away from the computer. I don't know, go outside, maybe even sleep. And while you're doing those things away from the computer, if the price rises high enough, you will sell automatically. And if the price falls low enough, you will buy automatically. So fantastic, limit orders. I want to talk all about limit orders. These things are really interesting, although they are kind of complicated. So I made the order book. See, that's pretty sweet. I'm really proud of this. I made the order book, and I'm going to walk you through it. First of all, these limit orders are not actually limit orders, because like when you're trading stocks in TradFi, users trade against each other, but in DeFi, users trade with the liquidity pools. So how do limit orders actually work? Well, these are actually triggered buy orders or triggered sell orders. So you can set an order to sell, and then if the price rises and hits your target, a bot will take your funds and sell them on your behalf, and then give you the proceeds. And the opposite if you want to set a bid order to buy. So that's how it happens. It's a bot executing these trades against the liquidity pool. And there is a cost for doing so. The cost is 0.1%. So to use Prism Swap at all, it's 0.3%. So you add this cost, and the total cost basically of executing a bid or an ask order is 0.4%. Just so you know, there is that cost involved. Let's see what it looks like. So I made the order book right here. So like with a traditional stock situation, you've got your order book where the bids are on the left and the asks are on the right. I couldn't do that here. I'm not skilled enough. But anyway, just imagine these two things are side by side, because then it would look more familiar. Your bids right here and your asks right here. So just the way this works is, this is the Prism X Prism. This is just trading with Prism and X Prism. So the way it works is X Prism is intrinsically worth 1.05 Prism, right? That's what X Prism is worth. If you unstake X Prism, you're going to get 1.05 Prism in return. So, but it fluctuates on the market. So what people are doing here, let's take a look at this one, this really tall one right here. So if the price of X Prism ever falls to 1 Prism, like if the price of X Prism denominated in Prism ever falls to 1, and remember, the proper intrinsic value of X Prism is 1.05 Prism. But on the market, if it ever falls to 1, then this bid order is going to be activated. A bot is going to pick up this bid order, and somebody has put Prism into a smart contract. The bot will take that Prism and exchange it for X Prism. And this is a very favorable rate, right? Because then the user can take his X Prism and he can slow burn it, by which I mean unstake it, and he'll have gained 5%. Or he can just stand around and wait for the market rate to go back up, and then he can sell his X Prism. So that's pretty cool. These order books are pretty thin right now. There are not very many orders out there. I kind of had to I scraped up all the data I could to make these order books. There are a whole bunch of conceivable pairs if you do routing and everything, but I've only got 2 pairs right now. I am going to be working on building out this dashboard, but so far I just have this. Let's look at the ask orders. So this is people who are going to be selling their X Prism if the price of X Prism in Prism gets high enough. So remember I told you the intrinsic value of 1 X Prism is 1.05 Prism. Well, there's a huge order. Check out this order. There is 20,000 X Prism sitting in the smart contract, and if the price of X Prism in Prism rises above the intrinsic value to, you can see it on the screen, to 1.06, then this order is going to be triggered. This X Prism is going to be sold for Prism, right? And that's a very favorable rate. So if that happens, this user is going to come out ahead. So this is going to be very useful for you. Don't try and trigger any of these orders. Don't do that. You're probably not a whale, but this is going to be very useful for you because this is going to tell you where you should put your orders. Because on a traditional like stock market exchange, what you want to do is you want to put your orders in front of other people's orders so that your orders get triggered first. So here you can see where other users have their orders, so you can put yours in front. And also I've done something else to help you. I've given you right here the price of X Prism in Prism. So you can see there was a spike. Like, check this out. Just a few days ago, for a moment, the price of X Prism spiked to 1.25 Prism. What? Why so high? That's crazy. I think I know why that happened. I think it was an ARB gone wrong. I think a whale claimed his Prism rewards from Prism Farm and tried to convert them to X Prism, but he had so much that he shoved the price up really high. So if this spike happens again, this ask order is sitting here waiting. He wants to sell his X Prism for Prism. So if the price spikes again, this order is going to be triggered and he'll be really happy. So there you go. There's the order book for Prism X Prism. I've also done the order book for Luna C Luna. These tokens that should be at parity or near parity are very good for trading. So that's why most of the orders are here at the moment. So also, like, I'll just quickly do this one. Take a look. Obviously, the price of C Luna and Luna should be worth the same. The only reason C Luna is sometimes worth less is that you have to unbond it for 21 days to get it back into Luna. So for that reason, if the price of C Luna falls denominated in Luna, check this out, just look at the axis right here. There is 500 Luna sitting in the Prism smart contract waiting to buy C Luna. If C Luna falls to 0.97 Luna, okay, you can see it on the screen. If you can't understand what I'm saying, just look at the screen right here. It's right before your eyes. This is pretty fantastic. This person doesn't have to sit at his computer and wait to claim this ARB. He can just go about his life, going outside or even sleeping, and he's got 500 Luna that is going to be used to buy C Luna if the price of C Luna falls to below what it should be in Luna. Okay, and here you go. This is how the price of C Luna fluctuates in Luna. So yeah, there's a pretty good chance that guy's bid order is going to be executed. Really sweet. I love this. And I love that I was able to make these order books. And like I said, I'm going to be building out this dashboard in the future, so you can check back here. This is going to be an invaluable tool for you if you want to play around with Prism Swap limit orders. Okay, moving on. We're moving to the second half of the video right now, which is my recent intense interest, Nebula protocol. I have been very underwhelmed with the Nebula protocol LBP thus far. At this point, when I'm recording, it's been running for 7 hours, and you can look at this. Look at the buy pressure, the sell pressure. It's been really low. For comparison, in the first 1 hour of the Whale LBP, there was 700,000 UST worth of buy pressure. That's a lot, almost 1 million. But look at the screen right there. You see the buy pressure for Nebula protocol? Less than 10,000. And the sell pressure has even been really low, considering that everybody had their airdrops and everybody could have sold and they would have been guaranteed a lower price because the price of Neb's only going to go down. I sold, so why didn't everybody else do that? The sell pressure has even been really low. So as you can see, the price is falling as predicted. And the question, and take a look at this. Like, look at the addresses that have interacted with this LBP. What the heck? Is everybody at work or something? If they're at work, why aren't they getting into this LBP at work? They should be trading. They should take a lunch break, and they should at least sell some NEB. You shouldn't be buying NEB at this point. But anyway, very few people have been interacting with the LBP thus far. And you can see here's the contract. So here's the current composition. There should be more in there, but there isn't. It's just not getting that much attention. So anyway, check this out. I'm really proud of building the order books back there, and I'm also really proud of this calculator. I'm going to put this in the description. I'm going to put all kinds of stuff down in the description for you to use, all these wonderful tools. This is a calculator that is going to help you determine what the price of Neb will be in the LBP given certain compositions. So let's take a look at this. First of all, if you want to use this by yourself, I've written instructions for you. You can click on these. These are your instructions. I'll just explain it to you though. So the LBP period is going to be 5 days. So I've got the calendar dates right here in this column. And just for the sake of making this chart, I've divided the 120 hours of the LBP period into 60 2-hour periods. I just did that. That was just arbitrary, just to make this chart. And now we've got the composition, 20 million Neb, a million UST, and these are how the weights are going to change. So the weights are kind of on a fixed course. That's not going to change. I've put down how the weights will change here. So if nobody interacts with this LBP, the price is going to be, it's going to start at 245. And then it's going to go down and down and down, and you can see how the price is going to fall just because of the down pressure of the shifting weights. And it's going to end up at 3 cents. Okay? So if nobody interacts with this LBP, the price of Neb is going to Goblin Town. It's going down to 3 cents. People are going to interact with it though. So you can ask yourself, say, how much is going to be in that in the LBP at the end of the period? So you can put the numbers in with this calculator. Let's say 13 million Neb gets sold, leaving us with 7 million Neb, and let's just say there's 15 million UST in there. So that's going to be the price. There you go. Pretty sweet, huh? So if the LBP ends with 7 million Neb and 15 million UST, the price of Neb is going to be 1.42, given the weights that will be prevailing at the end of the LBP period. So that'll be the price. But what's really useful for this calculator is you can try and figure out when your target price is going to be hit, because if you're playing this LBP, you've got to have a target price. I've got a target price. I'm going to put a lot of money into this LBP, and well, I haven't quite arrived at my target price yet, but I'm still working on it. I'm taking a look at this dashboard. I'm monitoring the data, and I know roughly when I want to get in. I'm not quite sure yet, but let's just say you wanted to get in at 40 cents. So you would go right here. You just pick 40 cents right here, and then you would calculate the time, right? Because these are 2-hour intervals, right? So you could calculate what time the price of Neb will be arriving at 40 cents, kind of like a train, like looking at the train schedule. But remember, the composition is going to be changing. So it's already changed a little bit. So let's say you think maybe at this time, you can calculate the time yourself. Maybe you think there's going to only be 19 million Neb in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And maybe 1, 2, and maybe 1.2 million UST. Well then, see how it changed? The price is not going to be 40 cents, it's going to be 0.5 cents. It's not going to be 40 cents, it's going to be 50 cents, because the price is a function of the weight and the changing composition, so the buy and the sell pressure. So this calculator is going to be really useful for me once I get a little more data. I'm going to get data here, and I'm going to see how much UST is going into this pool, how much Neb is coming out. I'm going to see how that's roughly working, and then I'm going to say, well, if that rate continues unchanged, then I'll know where the price of Neb is going to be in 5 hours. Or I can say to myself, if the rate of UST going in picks up and the rate of Neb coming out picks up, then the price will be roughly here in 5 hours. And that way, that's just going to help me determine when the price is going to arrive at my target price. Because, you know, okay, so to thread these two disparate things in the video together, wouldn't it be sweet if you could have limit orders for this LBP? If you could take the limit orders from Prism Swap and use them in the LBP, that'd be awesome. Okay, yeah, I think I should end there. That's really nice. I braided the two threads of this video together, so it turns out they're not unrelated after all. So Here's the Nebula LBP. The price is under $1. It started at $2.45. It's under $1. Um, I've roughly got my target in mind. Hopefully you have your target in mind. Like I said, feel free to use this calculator, use the dashboard, use my tools, and I hope you get the price you want. Also, if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about with this LBP, like go back and watch my past videos because I've been obsessed with this for about a week, and yeah, I'm loving this. I had a good day making these tools, and hopefully you enjoy using them. That's all, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.